Alright guys, so what are we installing today?
We're gonna be putting some rear shocks on the truck. Got some Dobinsons MRRs.
And then what?
Oh.
What is up, Tacoma family? Welcome back to a brand new video, guys. So today I'm with the buddy Jordan, Overlandaholic. We are going to be installing some new shocks on our Tacomas. Not new, but we're going to be installing some different shocks on the Tacoma, so it's going to be super exciting. We're just going to do a quick rundown on the installation and just show you guys the process. So we got Jordan's Tacoma over here, mine right here. We're going to get started on Jordan's first, but we're going to be installing the Dobbs on the rear. How do you feel about today's installation with the Dobinsons?
I'm excited.
Yeah?
It's gonna be pretty easy.
Think so?
I hope so. I always say that, but
Yep.
always something goes wrong. But hopefully not today.
Yep. And then Jordan currently has the Eibach in the rear, but those are going to be going on my Tacoma. Tacoma completely stock for those of you that watch the channel. Just going to be running the Eibach in the back, and then we'll see in the future if Jordan gets something different. I'll probably cop his or just buy some different ones on my own. Make sure you guys also check out my buddy Jordan's Instagram at Overlandaholic. You can check out his content there, and make sure you check out Tacoma Family as well.
Alright, so we're gonna take off the wheel so that we can see the shock easier to access. And then we'll get this old one taken off and put the new one on.
Let's do it. Hey, first wheel down. We got access to our rear shock here. We're gonna get started by removing it, and then once we get done with that, we'll start by putting on the Dobbs. All right guys, so we're gonna start by unbolting the shock here, get it nice and loose, and then start by removing the bolt on the top of the shock here, and then we'll get started with the rest of the process. There we go, it's almost out of there. All right, where are we at with the process of the shock now?
So we took off the bottom bolt of the Eibach shocks.
Okay.
So now we're just gonna lift the axle back up a little bit so I can take it off the jack stand and then let it down, and then I can unbolt the shock and remove it.
Awesome, let's do it.
Yeah.
Now on to removing the top bolt, and then we should be able to remove the shock now. So Jordan's unloosening the top one currently. What would you rate the installation process for rear shocks on Tacomas?
It's pretty straightforward. I mean, like, ultimately, it's like 2 bolts, so it's pretty easy. Just make sure you have the right tools.
All right, so we got the Eibach shock on. This is the one that's gonna go in the Tacoma. Jordan's gonna put the Dobbs on his truck, so super stoked about that. Test fit real quick on the Dobbs.
Oh, long.
Ooh, long boys, huh?
Very long.
All right, guys, so we're gonna try and fit the long travel suspension now on Jordan's Tacoma. We did have to lower the jack a little bit so the axle kind of gives us more access to put the long travel in since it is longer. But we're gonna try a test fit here and see what we can come up with. All right, guys, so we just got the Dobbs in. Currently, we put the bottom bolt on, and then we just kind of hand tighten the top a little bit just to keep it in place there. We're gonna tighten everything up, put the reservoir located here, tighten that up as well, and then just make sure everything is looking correct. All right, Jordan, what were we getting into with the shock here? What kind of test should the viewers know to do?
So, really with like long travel shocks, you want to make sure that your bump stop contacts your frame before the shock is fully collapsed. Just to make sure that like you're not bottoming out your shocks, especially like when you're off-roading and you're like flexing, just to make sure you're not blowing out your shocks by compressing them too much. But I mean, so far so good. Looks like my bump stop contacts the frame before the shock does. Obviously I got to do some fine tuning since these are like adjustable. But yeah, everything should be good. We'll do a few more tests. I'll flex it out on like the curbs and stuff just to see. But yeah, seems good so far.
All right, what's on to the next step?
So we got to do the other side. We've only done one side so far because we were doing all that testing just to see if it actually worked. But yeah, now we got to do driver's side.
Driver's side, pretty simple. Now that we're kind of familiar with this side, it definitely should be pretty easier and fast to get the other side done. Oh yeah, we got this too. All tightened, looks super badass. Definitely looks good on Jordan's truck. Super pumped to definitely try them out on the trails. Do you agree?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'll be playing with them. The adjustability.
Hell yeah.
Kind of get it where I want, but yeah, it's gonna be dialed.
So we were actually bouncing on the tailgate as well. When we were bouncing on this side, it felt super nice and smooth. And keep in mind, you can adjust it. And then when we bounced on this side with the Eibach, it was like kind of stiff.
Yeah. So like I can make the Dobinsons softer or more firm. If you get more weight in the bed, you can firm it up a little bit. But yeah, he'll just take some playing around with it, getting used to it.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we currently put the jack on the frame here. And then we're gonna unbolt the shock here, get it a little loose before we lift this wheel up and take it off to make the process a little easier. Then once we do that, remove the tire and then move off the shock. There we go. Got it all nice and loose. This is the part that takes forever. We were struggling to get that bolt out a little bit. You just kind of have to bang it in order for it to come out. All right, second wheel down. How do you feel, Jordan?
Pretty good. Hopefully fly through this one a little bit faster.
Yeah, a little faster than the other side, but yeah, we'll take that bolt off. It'll be super simple. And then super pumped to put that one in. And we'll flex it at the end. All right, guys, so we got the shock installed. We just have to put the bolt on here on the top and tighten everything good. We got the reservoir as well mounted on correctly. And Jordan just needs to tighten the bottom bolt, and then we'll be good. All right, guys, so now we're just torquing the wheel to spec. The Dobs are on both sides. It looks super good. And this side as well. Hell yeah. We just got done with Jordan's. Jordan's truck is all complete. The Eibachs are gonna go on my Tacoma now. We're gonna jack up the truck and then start by removing the driver back wheel. All right.
I'm gonna take the wheels off. Sick.
All right, guys. So we just put the Eibach shock. This one, honestly, not gonna lie, took a minute.
Yeah.
It took a while.
We tried to use the wrong nut. When you try to use the stock one, realized that you have to use the ones that came with the kit. So yeah, the whole thing was just spinning.
Yep, the whole thing was spinning. We tried to put the top bolt from the factory shock, and that didn't work. So you have to make sure you put the original factory bolts on everything together. Wheels back on. We're just gonna need to torque it at the end, as well as the shock, of course. Everything's on there all nice. Looks super good. Super pumped for how it's gonna turn out at the end. All right, so we're getting the last wheel. We got the second shock done. It was honestly super difficult because someone needs to be helping you like hold this little top piece, honestly, on the factory. And that way it's not moving and stuff. We're gonna put the Eibach shock on the other side and then get to tightening everything, and then we'll be pretty much finished. All right, guys, so finally complete. Everything's torqued to spec. Eibachs are on. Looks super, super good. I'm pumped. All right, so yeah, we just rode in Jordan's truck. They definitely feel so smooth. He just has to make some minor adjustments to his liking, and then they'll definitely be super good. All right, guys, so that's gonna conclude the video. Pretty simple installation on both trucks. We ran into a couple little things, but nothing major. Jordan's Tacoma now has the long travel suspension, and then my Tacoma has the Eibach shocks in the rear. So definitely super pumped. So when we take it wheeling, have a different feel for both of the trucks. Stay tuned on the channel, follow my Instagram, and stay tuned for more, guys.